So what we're looking forward to on Stan Sport. To set the scene a little further, would you please welcome Rugby Australia CEO Andy Marinos and Stan CEO Martin Kugeler. Anywhere you like. Gents, welcome for today, but great to have you with us, of course, once again. Andy, we're going to start with you. Tell us why Aussie rugby fans should be pumped up about season 2023 and can the Aussie clubs take it to the Kiwis?
Just welcome to everyone, and it's good to be here finally at our launch. Look, it's a huge year. It's a huge year for all the players. I think there's 33 boarding passes that are waiting to get a name printed on that, and that's enough of a incentive and a motivation to all the players. But when you look at the competition, there's been a lot of work that's been done, a lot of alignment and integration between Australia and New Zealand in preparation for this year's comp. So a more integrated and cohesive marketing plan that's going to be sitting across the top. We've done a lot of work around the shape of the game. Some of those innovations have been communicated. We're really trying to work hard to make sure we get more ball in play, slow down and take out all the unnecessary stoppages. We've really worked hard to limit TMO interventions during the game, which has been a bugbear. So, those are sort of some of the innovations and law variations and marketing initiatives that have been set up. But more importantly, for the players, I think it's just a wonderful opportunity for them now to, as I said, impress. We've got a new coach who's brought a lot of enthusiasm and relevance back to rugby, and I think they're going to be wanting to really get in Eddie's line of sight and put themselves, as I said, on that plane for France at the end of the year. So, and in terms of when we look at how we're going to go against the Kiwis, I think when we look from 21, 22, the big change, the guys really played a lot better last year. We were a lot more competitive. When I look at the strength of the squads, we've got two new coaches that have come in. Stevie Larkham's come back, and Cronny's now at the Western Force. There's a good group of players. I think the teams have benefited. We had an extended A-team tour last year. A lot more guys got international exposure. We saw some new Wallabies coming through, and all those things add to the Super Rugby club's experience. And I think we can really look forward to them getting some wins over our friends across the ditch.
Indeed. Just reading about those changes to the TMO intervention. A lot of TMOs around the country are devastated. They've got their global platform reduced, that they won't be seen as much as they were in the past. That's a good thing for the game, isn't it?
It is, and I think it's we're in a very competitive sporting landscape here, but not only here, across the globe. And so I think what people come to watch is players playing. And the other thing we want to try and do is make sure we keep as many players as we can on the field, and we don't have unnecessary interventions that are disrupting that. Obviously, at the core of it is making sure we look after the players, and player safety and welfare is of paramount importance. But I think we'll all enjoy the changes that have been suggested.
Indeed. Martin, big year for us, for rugby on Stan Sport. How exciting is it to have it returning on Friday week? Big game at Allianz Stadium. That's where it all starts?
Yes, maybe before I start, also welcome from my side. Thank you, Andy, and the Rugby Australia team for having all of us, or me here. Fantastic location that you have chosen for the launch. So I think, Nick, we all are excited that it starts, right? The team here, we've got Morgan here, we've got Justin here, we've got Sean here. I think everyone, the production team, everyone is ready to go and excited about a year that starts, obviously has started with Six Nations, fantastic games there, but now Super Rugby, and then going into a World Cup can't be better. That you can start watching the Australian stars, the New Zealand stars, Fiji, Pacifica from round one all the way into the World Cup and follow them. And Andy touched on it with a new Wallabies coach, with Eddie Jones joining. I think there will be lots of narrative and spice. Every player wants to prove that he either keeps his spot or gets a spot in the Wallabies team. I think that every round will be exciting to see the matchups between the players fighting for those spots, right? These are existing players, there are new players coming, or players that missed out. So I think that will be super interesting. And then obviously, as an Australian fan, I hope what Andy is saying, kind of the progression that happened already in last year, continues, and really hope to have a Super Rugby team in the final, or hopefully lifting the trophy. So no pressure.
That's the hope. Now, for those of you who don't know Martin, you are kind of a case study of what we're trying to achieve at Stan Sport, because in terms of getting new fans, you're a rugby convert, aren't you? You've been attracted to the sport. Your family loves the sport.
Yes, so probably everyone hears my accent is not an Aussie accent. I come from Germany, not rugby heartland. So when I came over here, kind of really was more rugby league, AFL. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that here in the room. But then once we started the discussions with Rugby Australia and being involved, I obviously got to know the game, watched a lot of games at home. My daughter, 7, is a Brumbies fan. I'm a Waratahs fan. I don't know if DC is here. I'm still waiting for my Wallabies Waratahs kit, by the way. But
after the Yellowstone jacket you gave him, yeah.
No, but it's the case. We really enjoy watching the rugby, and you talked about innovations, and we might touch on it a bit later again. So yes, really enjoying the game, and obviously the more you learn about the game, the players, the storylines, the history, but also the future and what is coming up, and all the exciting time that is now coming up for Rugby Australia. So yes, I'm a convert, yes. And
what about innovations? You touched on that. What's the one innovation that we've got in store this year that you're really looking forward to?
Only allowed to talk about one.
You talk as many as you like.
No, maybe I start off with, and we've been partnering with Rugby Australia, all the teams, the coaches, the players, in getting an unprecedented access to that during the broadcast, right? Bringing fans so close to the game, and insights and the emotion that is great. And we had, after the last season, a discussion with everyone involved in Australia, in New Zealand, how can we improve that even further? And there are a few things that I think everyone has planned, and I don't think I'm allowed to spoil it, but I'm told it's will start in round 1. So watch out for that. But then and it touched on the rule changes and law changes. So I think Rugby Australia, New Zealand, Senza, everyone was looking how can the attractiveness of the game further improve, more ball and play, etc. I think particular our director of sport, Ben Kimber, I don't know if everyone knows it, he will be particularly happy because he will not hear me screaming all the time, stop the clock, when people, how long can it take to put a ball on the grass, clean the grass, look at the sticks 20 times until you kind of kick it 2 minutes before the end of the game. So I'm really excited about those innovations coming through, which will improve the attractiveness of the game for fans, for the viewers at home. So that's probably another one. And then we from Stan and Nine are really passionate about this sport, and we want to basically also tell the stories and the narrative around the sport. So we will continue with our shows that we had last year between 2 posts. So everyone might have seen the big 2 posts outside, so we don't spare any investment. But basically on the Mondays, it's between 2 posts where we talk about the round that just happened, the excitement, the results, anything that comes out of it. Rugby Heaven continues, and then as you know, we also are very supportive of grassroots rugby and Shoot Shield Hospital Challenge Cup in our show. Their Clubland will also continue on Wednesday. So
nice stuff. Well done. And finally, Andy, you mentioned the World Cup, new Wallaby coach. What impact do you think that will have on players in the Super Rugby sphere every time they step out?
I think it's going to certainly focus their minds on making sure they do the simple things right time and time again. I think Eddie's going to use this. I'm sure he's going to be using this as a barometer, and the players know that. You speak to a lot of the Wallaby players already. Those who thought they were going to France now realise that they're going to have to earn the right to get on that plane. So I think that's going to be positive. But more importantly, it's just so good just to have a positive vibe and sentiment around the game in this country. There's a lot of talent, and we're going to start seeing a lot of that talent coming through the system this year. I think there's going to be a couple of surprises. You always have it in a World Cup year. A lot of people start off at the beginning of the year, and you have your your tracker, and these are your 23 or 33 players that you think are going to go, and by the time you actually get to the World Cup, it could be a very different picture. So I think there's a lot to look forward to. I think the pre-season trials that we've seen, there's been a lot of good rugby. Some new names have put their hands up for that, and so I think it's we positioned ourselves really well for this year. And the other thing I just want to say, you say what is the big change? I think we can't underestimate. This is quite exciting that the first year we're going to be in this new competition. We're kicking off without having to worry about COVID. This time last year we were spinning our wheels trying to work out where we're going to put the force, where the Drew are going to be. Are we going to be able to play Super Round? There's been a lot of fluidity in the system, so it's really good to have that stability coming through. And then lastly, I just want to say thank you to Harvey Norman, our principal partner, once again for supporting the game. They're fantastic supporters of sport in this country, and it's wonderful to have them on board again with us for Super Rugby, Harvey Norman Super Rugby Pacific, and our broadcast partner. It's a wonderful relationship with Stan and Nine, and I think with all the innovations, as Martin says, that's been the wonderful thing in this off-season. We sort of finished 2022, understood what we needed to do to improve the product for 23 and beyond, and it's been well documented. We've had quite a frustrating, and at times challenging relationship with our friends over the ditch, but we've locked away in our competition till 2030, and this year is going to be the first step in really building the stature, the credibility, the quality of this competition. It's not only about what we deliver on the field, but it's also about what we deliver off the field. So that sponsorship, partnership, broadcaster integration is really, really important. And Martin and his team, and Brent and Murray, it's just wonderful to work with them, and we look forward to a good 23.
Indeed. Here's to a huge 2023. Would you please thank Andy and Martin?